Yeah, Chelsea 3, Cardiff 1. We got all the Chelsea big boys with us. Frank Leboeuf joins us, of course, former Chelsea player, plus our Chelsea correspondent, James Ollie, with us as well. Craig, you watched this game?
Did I?
Yeah, I think so. You watched it more than I did.
I'm not quite sure it did. It was
much to watch.
It was on.
It wasn't much to watch.
It was on. They made a lot of changes. They went to the bench, get the job done. Obviously, Cardiff got back into it. Chelsea, look, there's not a lot to say about it. Chelsea expected to win. Anything else would have been a disaster, particularly after the last few days.
Yes.
You know, the manager's comments, the press conferences, the sort of lines he's been thrown out there, chucking out the bait, which, you know, every Tom, Dick and Harry try to work out what he's meaning, what he's talking about. So the last thing he would have wanted was to go out of this competition to a third-tier team, which, you know, it was a hard-fought cup time for them. It wasn't easy, but in the end, just that little bit of quality. As I say, went to the bench, got the job done.
Frank, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, no, nothing much. I mean, easy to say that Chelsea did the job, but I want to give credit to the Welsh. I mean, that team really surprised me for a League One team. Or I guess they're going to be promoted, and they deserve it. So, because I mean, the way they play, the way they managed to come back, and the quality that they had. Yeah, they made mistakes at the back, especially on the first goal. But everything that they did was very well thought and very well played. So it wasn't easy for Chelsea. You expect on those kind of ties to see more physical type of game from a lower team, but it wasn't the case. So Maresca needed to change many players in order to finish that team winning that game. But yeah, they carry on. Semi-final, good for Chelsea.
That's back-to-back wins, of course, for Chelsea, James. And what was interesting, of course, and what grabbed all the headlines were Enzo Maresca's comments after what happened in the Everton game. Obviously, their first win in 4. You thought, right, turn the corner a little bit. Then he comes out with this riddle talking about the hardest 48 hours he's ever had at Chelsea.
Yeah, so I've been speaking to quite a few people around the club about this, and my understanding of the situation is that there hasn't been a specific incident, there hasn't been a sort of bust up behind the scenes that has triggered this one moment. I think it took quite a lot of people at the club by surprise. Some people very close to Maresca were very surprised by his public outburst. And I think what we're seeing is more a head coach who perhaps feels as though he's slightly outgrown the terms of his employment in the first place. When he was hired by Chelsea, I think, you know, people felt they were maybe taking a little bit of a gamble on Maresca. He wasn't obviously proven in the Premier League. And when you're a head coach at Chelsea, you come into a structure that is a bit unconventional. There are, you know, 2 sporting directors, there's a performance team, there's a medical team. They all have kind of a big input, and there are regular meetings. The owners obviously also have their say. And there is a very comprehensive structure around the head coach. And I think the consequence of last season's success, getting into the Champions League, winning the Conference League, winning the Club World Cup, I think he feels he's earned a little bit more authority, a little bit more of a say in what's going on. And I think the genesis of this is possibly that, and then maybe somebody in a meeting before the game, in one of their regular sort of feedback sessions, has said something that he didn't like, or has maybe questioned a plan selection or the use of a player, and that has triggered this situation. I don't think it's anything that as far as I'm aware, there's not been one massive bust up that this is alluding to. I think this has been building for a while.
Frank, what are you giggling at?
No, it's just because maybe we try to analyze and understand something that maybe he just made up, that he didn't know what to say. You say, you know what? That was the first 48 hours. Maybe he didn't know what he was talking about. Because
what do you mean? He knows what he's saying, surely.
No, he knows what he's saying. He knows what he's saying.
It's not you.
He's the only one. In that case, he tries. Maybe he's the only one. Exactly. He tries to only think that I have to make up something like that. Maybe they're gonna go in another direction, and they're not gonna bother me by the way we play or the way we display. But this is what it is. He got a draw and 2 losses in 3 games. and he's trying to tell us that that was the worst 48 hours. People don't really like, the way consistency is flying over Chelsea and that club. And so, yes, the fans, they love the club, and the fans and the board and everything. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to see wins. And that's it. And they don't want to see analyses and stupid explanation. And we don't care about the worst 48 hours. Do your job. And we know it's hard, but what we want is for the club to win. That's
Frank,
it.
of all the theories there's been about this, that is the worst one. He didn't know what he was saying.
So basically, he's feeling the pressure. He's feeling the pressure that's coming from around the club. It's not the fans, it's not the media.
But from what James is saying,
it's not the players.
He's feeling unloved, basically. Like
He's feeling the pressure,
he feels like he deserves more credit for
And you want to analyse that?
What? You want to talk about his formation against Cardiff?
Scrub away all that stuff you've just come out with. He's feeling the pressure.
Right.
Because all of a sudden, in the space of 2 weeks, including ourselves, talking about maybe Chelsea could be fighting for a title, the way they performed, particularly against Arsenal, and then all of a sudden, there's questions being asked because they go on a bad run. He's feeling the pressure. It's as simple as that.
But he just won. You'd imagine that would be the time.
I tell you what, I much preferred the Mo Salah discussion, because at least we knew what the crux of the issue was.
What are the Chelsea?
You think it's
and it
simple?
was out there. This is.
Don't you think it's really just simple? He's feeling it.
No, I think so. And initially, when these comments come out, it did, on the face of it, seem as if this was a jibe at the hierarchy, which James is saying, with these sources, that doesn't seem to be the case. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of people, and there's a lot of people with their fingers in the pie at Chelsea, but Enzo Maresca knew that when he took the job, and Tuchel had his problems there, Potter definitely had big problems, Pochettino had his issues with control, and I'm sure Enzo Maresca's having the same issues. But the bottom line is he got a lot of credit after the Arsenal game, a lot of credit for the way they played, not so much for the Caicedo lack of discipline, but for the way they played, and they didn't take that forward. They didn't take that forward with momentum. He left James and Neto out the side. They had some bad results. They travelled to Italy. They lost against Atalanta. They had a pretty dull draw down in the south coast against Bournemouth, and I think there is a pressure on him. There's a pressure to keep moving the club forward, to play better and to get better results, and really possibly mount some sort of title challenge that we can debate whether they're ready for that or not. But that's what people are looking for, and I think he is, as Stevie said, just sort of feeling the pressure of the situation at the moment, and he needs to get good results and a consistent run of good results.
Is he right to feel under pressure, James?
Well, the club have always said that they were going to review his position at the end of his second season, and nothing has changed from that. And also, if Maresca's sort of feeling as though maybe he's not, I've seen it sort of suggested in a number of places that he maybe feels he's not had enough public support. Well, he's already had that a couple of times this season, and the club can't really come out every sort of 3 or 4 weeks and say, no, he's our man, he's our man, he's our man, because it just starts to lose its value, and it looks a bit weak from the hierarchy, frankly. So, look, I mean, it's sort of business as usual as far as I'm being told, in terms of, I spoke to people who were in the team hotel today who sort of said, he was fine. I took the meeting as normal before the game, no change in his sort of general demeanour. And I don't think there's any kind of desire from the hierarchy to want to move him on. But that said, what he's done here is kind of the worst of both worlds, really. If he was going to go public, he could have gone public and been very specific, but he sort of went a bit public and then kind of backtracked and then refused to kind of elaborate, and has just created this kind of scrutiny on the club that wasn't there before, because myself, I'm obviously not the only journalist asking these questions. There are a lot of people now asking questions, looking for issues. Is this a problem? Could this be an issue? And you've sort of created this kind of almost environment around the team that didn't need to be there. So I'm not really sure why Maresca... Look, I mean, I know Frank says maybe he's making it up. One thing I would say to that is just look back at the timeline of how this happened. So After the game on Saturday, he has to do his flash interviews, which are sort of TV interviews that he has to do within 20 minutes of the final whistle. So he comes out, he does all of those. He then comes and does the post-match written press conference, which is after all of those flash interviews. It's the last bit of media that he has to do. And his outburst, if you want to call it that, was right at the end of that press conference. So the sort of party line that came out afterwards, oh, this is an emotional guy being emotional. Well, A, you've won. B, you've had quite a lot of time to calm down. And C, this has come not in a line of questioning that was provocative or from a journalist that he didn't like. This was right at the end of his media for the whole day to sort of say, right, oh, and by the way, I'm not very happy with this. See you later. Worst thing for him is he then had to do a press conference less than 48 hours later where he was going to get all the follow-up questions. But my point is that it's Maresca it's on him to really explain this, and yeah, he leaves himself open to the conclusion that he is feeling the pressure, because what I'm hearing from behind the scenes is the club are happy to look at this at the end of the season, as was always the case anyway.
He's created a confusion.
Yeah, unnecessarily.
Exactly.
So. You get asked about Gusto and you start going on about 48 hours.
Yeah, and whether this was some sort of sideshow to get us talking about, oh, is Maresca happy, is the problems, and talk less about, 2 or 3 iffy results. I don't know. You never know with some of these managers what they try and use as a tactic to deflect from certain situations. But what he has created is this situation of confusion. Is it just he's feeling unloved? Is it a boardroom issue? Is it one or two players in the dressing room? Is it the fans getting on his back? Is it the media? Is it the back page headlines? Maybe questioning whether he can take the club further forward. I mean, we don't know what it is. He's just made a confusing situation when he could have come out really and just, if he was really, really unhappy and just clarified the situation, which he hasn't. He's talked about delivering messages in Spanish, Italian, British and French and all these different languages. I mean, nobody really cares.
Idiots like us talking about it.
Nobody really cares. No, but I think the Chelsea fans, really, if you're a supporter of Chelsea and you're hanging on the manager's every word and on every result, you just want to know, what is the situation here? Are you committed to the club, to the end of the season? If that's the case, as James said, will they review his contract? Or are you looking to jump ship here because you're not happy with something, but you're not telling people what you're unhappy about? All very, as I say again, confusing.
Indeed. James, apparently that's all you're on for today. Do you want to add anything?
No.
Oh, here he goes.
Wait, Dan. It's not confusing because according to this press conference before the Cardiff Chelsea, he said that he was really clear and that he explained everything, that everybody shouldn't be confused. It's what he said. James can elude that. That's insane, because it's why I think it comes from nowhere, because even after he said that he's clear, so that he explained everything, he explained nothing, put that out, and we're going to, debate about that, maybe or not.
James, would you like to add anything before you depart?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about Thomas Frank, but
no,
I guess not.
Our producer's obsessed. Who cares about Spurs these days? No one. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, James. Just a reminder, it's Manchester City against Brentford.
Oh, he'll be wanting to talk about Xabi Simons again, the producer. Oh, my good Lord.
Back those games tomorrow. It was an 8-goal thriller, wasn't it? Old Trafford last night. What a match between Manchester United and Bournemouth. 4 apiece. Ruben Amorim, as you can imagine, not happy with his defence.
We are lacking of quality when we defend our goal. It's something that we need to address, of course. I think it's different when you suffer so many goals and the opponent doesn't have the same amount of, not even near, that we create to the opponent. Is really frustrated, but we need to work a lot in the way we defend the box. We have talent in the back, we have quality players in the back, we just need to be better as a team defending. But that is a good point, that at least show that we took care of the offense. We are improving, but I think it's not the same situation. We have the characteristics, we just need to work together and to improve our players because they have quality to defend better.
Ruben Amorim quite calm, I suppose, considering the way in which Manchester United let that game slip away from them. You weren't here yesterday.
I was watching it all.
Oh, good. Well, that's lucky.
I didn't have to.
No, that's true.
Busy man, Well, to be fair, they are they have been, in some of the recent games, going forward, much more pleasing on the eye and a little bit more exciting. But again, when they get... and they got a little lucky in a sense yesterday. Bruno Fernandes free kick that was awarded was extremely, extremely debatable. But the referee, Simon Hooper, gave it. So, they've got better players in the forward areas. They still have massive issues in the middle of the park. And it's not just about the back line defending. And I know he's missing Maguire, he's missing De Ligt, he's missing Mazraoui. But the back line struggling is not just it's not just because you have less experienced players in there, which they have. It's a consequence of unbalanced middle of the park as well. It's something that Liverpool have had issues with this season. Konate and Van Dijk in the back four have been under more pressure because the dynamics in front of them have changed and they've not been as solid. Now, although they're on similar points, Liverpool are a much better outfit than Man United. But in a sense of your back line struggling and you're letting, you're giving up teams a lot of chances, it's not just the fact that it's Shaw and it's Heaven and it's Lenny Yoro. It's the fact that, you've got Fernandes and Casemiro, which really I don't think is a very good combination, not in this day and age, and certainly not protecting a weak back four. When you have a perceived weak back line, back three, back five, you've got to make sure you're solid in front. And Manchester United are not.
It was great for the neutral, not though, of course, if you're any sort of defensive coach.
Oh, no. I mean, listen, I agree with every single thing Craig said about the middle of the park.
Right.
Not stopping anybody, regardless whether it's Bournemouth or anybody else. But at the end of the day, when you're a defender, there comes a time when you have to do your job. You can't just keep blaming the middle of the park for letting teams get at you. As a OK goalkeeper, I don't remember him making a real save since he started in goal for Manchester United. There's not one save where you go, wow, how did he get that?
I think both goalies yesterday.
Well, no, it's not true.
Shaq was on yesterday and, Shaq is giving them a pass. Why the hell? Both goalkeepers, all right, Fernandes hits the top corner.
Yeah.
But that's on Petrovic's side, right? Line the wall up over there, you stand on this side, and even if somebody pings it like Fernandes did, you're only a yard away or so away from putting it over the bar. Both goalkeepers stood in the middle of the goal. That's not... Even we know that as outfield players. When you put a wall up, you have to go to the other side. I actually think he's made some decent saves, this goalkeeper. No?
At the end, yeah. At the end of the game, yeah.
Well, in general.
At the end of the game. He made two.
Right, hold on. OK. I wish Shaka was here. Because he made a save with his feet. When if he had stood up strong, he would have just stuck it in there.
What, the header?
Oh.
The goalkeeper when he saved it with his feet right at the end. I mean, come on.
No.
If he'd stood strong, he would have caught it with two hands.
We can say on that specific action, and in specific action, we can see that he hesitates between using his hand or his leg, and he picks the leg because I think it's more convenient for him. But that was a real save. And he had two big saves. Otherwise, Manchester United would have lost the game. But if I can put myself into the discussion,
we'll ask Shaq. Next time Shaq's on with me and you, we'll ask him why the goalkeeper, when the ball's coming to him, was falling on his backside.
Why don't we get him on the phone now?
Shaq has never been in so much demand.
I know. I'll call Shaq. I'm sorry. He's an OK goalkeeper. He's not.
I actually think he's done better. I think he's done better than people expected when he came in because of his inexperience, because they were so weak at the back. Ironically, I think that position now is less of a problem for them than some of the other positions, and it was a big headache for them at one point. Yeah. I think he's been not bad.
I don't think it's the worst of their problems. I don't know why you picked
No.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's the worst of the problems. I'm just saying that
Frank,
what
do you say?
When you need a save, when you need a real save, I'm sorry, I don't think this guy's making it.
No, Stevie, I just want to say that, that's not the only problem. And we could see on the first goal that Manchester United has conceded that you can see Mason Mount chasing the player who's going to score the goal for Bournemouth, asking Evan to come out. And nobody comes to stop the guy from shooting. And that's the elementary action that the central back has to do. That's taking the decision at what point he has to get out. And Heaven doesn't do it. He's still a young player. He was strict also on the second goal. He's still a young player, but he has to learn very quickly. You play for Manchester United, you have to know when to take those decisions. And he didn't. And the first 2 goals is because he's not covering on the second one. On the first one, he doesn't go out.
Hold on. I mean, did they let in?
Well, it's not always the goalie's fault. I mean, the free kick, I didn't like the free kick. I don't know why you're picking on the goalie. By the way, I was watching this game, when United came back, I was watching the crowd celebrate, and I suppose there is an air of desperation because they've been pants now for a long time. But I had to check. It's Bournemouth they're playing, not Barcelona, right? Bournemouth.
Yeah, but you just hold on to anything if you're United.
They're playing Bournemouth, and they're celebrating like they've just won the league when they came back to go 4-3, which most of them knew they were never going to hang on to. Bournemouth, who sold all the best players. Bournemouth, who have one of the smallest budgets. Away from home, 15th in the league.
They're on a poor run.
And that's kind of where they are on a poor run after a really good start to the season. And that's kind of where they are. And then you just know if they'd won. The conversation yesterday on the show, if they'd won, would probably have been about the top 4. Like they've been driven by this papering over the cracks. Oh, are United good enough for the top 4? No, they're not. Because Bournemouth have really been struggling of late. And I mentioned all the departures. And they go up there and they themselves could have had 6 or 7 goals.
Meanwhile, a member of Manchester United squad is sad. That would be Bruno Fernandes. This is what he said in an exclusive interview, saying, I could have left in the transfer window. I would have earned much more money. I was going to leave a season ago. I would have won many trophies this season, but I decided not to go because I genuinely love the club. From the club, I felt it was, if you go, it's not so bad for us. It hurts me a bit. More than hurting me, it makes me sad. I'm a player that no one can criticise. I'm always available. I always give my best. The passion and empathy for the club were the same, but it reaches a point where money is more important to them than you. The club wanted me to leave. I told the directors that I think they didn't have the courage to make that decision because the manager wanted me. But if I said I wanted to leave, even with the manager wanting me to stay, the club would let me. This was, of course, the links to Saudi Arabia. We discussed this.
Is that the trophies he's talking about?
During the summer.
Is that the trophies he's talking? He could go to Saudi Arabia and win trophies.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like taking a kid to the candy store, isn't it? I mean,
he feels let down. The club wasn't loyal to him. Didn't make him really feel wanted.
Well, you know what? I'd be a bigger concern if I was Bruno Fernandes. The fact that he decided to stay when he knew they're just not a very good team.
Yeah, but he loves Manchester United. That's what he was saying. He loves the club.
No, fair. Well, fine. We'll crack on then. The manager wants him. That's the most important
thing. The manager wants him. The club doesn't care.
Yeah, who cares about board of directors sometimes? As long as the manager wants you.
I'm trying to figure out why he's coming out with this anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite frankly, what's the point of this?
We saw Salah do it. We thought,
is he looking for sympathy? Is he looking for a pat in the back?
Well, yeah.
I mean, he loves the club. I don't want to go. So if Real Madrid had come in, would he have stayed? He loves the club so much. I don't think so. I think he'd have been on that. He'd have been on that plane or any way possible getting there as quick as possible.
Right.
So, yeah, don't think so.
Frank.
Yeah, I completely agree with Stevie. I mean, I don't know why he's coming out just now. We don't need to hear that. We don't care about that. It clears now to the fan that supposedly the club doesn't like Fernandes, and only the coach likes him, and that he will never go. And again, as Steve just said, it would have been Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid. I think Fernandes would have gone. So that doesn't make any sense for me.
Just a reminder, Football Reporters is available every week. The latest podcast dives deep into Manchester United, plus the boys look ahead to AFCON, which of course kicks off next week. The FIFA Best 11 was announced today. It's a weird reward because it's from August 2004 to August 2005, so you forget pretty much what's happened.
Yeah, well, they're weird.
During FIFA.
They're weird.
This is it, and I suppose if you're a Barcelona fan, you're looking at that and thinking, well, where's Rafinha? Surely he had a better season than the likes of Cole Palmer and Jude Bellingham. Frank?
Yeah, I agree with that. The first name that I saw, it was Bellingham. I say, oh, and when you say 2004 season, say maybe, but 24. As you said, I don't remember. 2024, sorry. They say, yeah, maybe. So that's kind of fair. Rafinha is a great player, had a very good season last season, but Bellingham did something great in 2024. So yeah, just maybe explain that. I like that kind of best 11. You know me about the best player. I don't like it, but the best 11, and it's quite fair. What I saw is pretty nice, and would have loved to be the coach of that team.
Oh, there we are. Beautiful.
I don't like anything to do with FIFA at this moment in time. No. Absolutely nothing. I mean, zero, nothing. What?
Nothing. I was going to say something, but I won't.
Am I upset? You think I'm going to upset somebody here?
No, I'm saying you would like them if they gave you some tickets, maybe.
No. I would like. I don't care about tickets. I would like FIFA to climb off this moral high horse of ripping off Joe Public. It's a disgrace. So I don't care what their FIFA Team of the Year is. I don't care about any other. This World Cup ticket fiasco for people travelling to the United States and North America is a complete, and they've backed down a little bit today, basically offering it for 20, 28, 30, 40, 50 bucks. That'll never happen. We were looking at tickets just for the sake of it. Stevie was on one of the apps for Scotland Haiti. Hardly a
in the clouds.
Hardly a game that every Tom, Dick and Harry wants to see, unless you're from those two countries. 1,500, 2 grand, 6 grand, 7 grand.
They sit in the clouds. I mean, they're great.
Sit there with a pair of binoculars.
This is great, isn't it? They want to make they want to make more teams in the World Cup to be fair and give everybody a chance and include everybody.
Gianni Infantino's so out of touch. I mean, we talk about Sepp Blatter and all the things that he did wrong, right? This guy now in charge of FIFA is making him look somewhat semi-normal. Blatter, I mean, he has got no idea about the football fan. Absolutely none whatsoever. I'm sorry to go on about this.
He's not interested, though.
Anything that says FIFA at the moment.
He's not interested, though.
They have got, I tell you what, they've got a long road to go to try and recover this situation in a 6-month period. They're going to have to do some amazing PR to claw this mess back in a 6-month period. And let's see what this Infantino dude does about it.
Let's take a look at the other winners of the award then, shall we? Dembele was given FIFA Best. Of course, he was the winner of the Ballon d'Or as well. It was in between Lamine Yamal, but in the end, it is the Frenchman who gets it. Of course, part of that PSG winning side from the Champions League back in the 24-25 season. Real Madrid are in action tomorrow, of course, in the Copa del Rey. Speaking ahead of that tie, Xabi Alonso asked about the pressure of being the coach of Real Madrid, and he said, well, the Xabi who arrived in June isn't the same as the one now. In essence, yes, but I've learned things. I've had to adjust things about myself, and there's been development. It's normal. We evolve, and the important thing is that it's for the better. There's still a way to go.
What's up with these managers these days? Is everybody just turned into the Riddler? Everybody's just turned into the Riddler. Let's just baffle everybody with words and then they'll just go away.
Isn't he just basically saying, I'm learning as I'm going? Which you would expect.
Would you say that then?
Exactly.
Hey. Man of the people.
Exactly.
Just say it.
Just say that. Keep it with your nonsense.
Well, you know that when you come from Leverkusen and you're going to join Real Madrid, that at a certain point you won't be the same person because of the pressure that you have, the responsibility that you have. But, well, you know what? I don't know why. Again, why does he need to make that comment? Yeah, we all know that's obvious. Good for him. And we hope that he's going to grow and grow again to make sure that this team wins something this season, because that doesn't seem to be the case right now.
Beat Deportivo Alaves at the end. So, I mean... Yeah.
Yep, he's still there.
Still there.
Still hanging on.
Still clinging.
Exactly.
Still clinging on.
Copa del Rey tomorrow could kill him off, though. Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Craig and Stevie here.
Have we got any FIFA questions?
No, well, if we have, I'm not doing them.
He's not answering them.
How are you?
I'll answer them. I just don't know how you can be so... I just don't know how they can be so tone deaf. I just don't.
Do you think at any stage, when they were picking out numbers to sell tickets for, somebody went, hold on a second, that's a bit high, isn't it? Do you think there's any stage anybody did that? Or did they just go, well, tough luck?
Mind you, in saying that, anybody who rubber stamped that opening, that ceremony for the draw, anybody that rubber stamped that and said, and went, actually, because they'd have rehearsed all that, because they had too many dumplings involved not to rehearse it. So they had to have rehearsed it, and somebody went, "That's the one. People are going to enjoy that." That's the people making the decisions. And when that's the people making the decisions, you've got problems, because they thought that was good, and it was one of the most cringe-worthy things I've ever seen in all my life. And then, no, I'm not going to go anymore, but those are the same people that are making the decisions about the ticket allocations and the ticket prices. It's just, Gianni Infantino was just hogging that stage, taking, oh, jeez.
Frank, what do you think of Lamine Yamal playing the full 90 minutes in a round of 32 Copa del Rey match?
A bit strange, but when you're a young player, you want to play. You want to play any game, and that's a very big question of the modern time. I never asked myself or coach if I wanted to play that game or another game. I wanted to play all the games, and I think the two guys were also former players. They wanted to play the games. You never thought, okay, we play against Guadalajara if we're in Spain, or we play against Cardiff. I don't want to play that game. I want to rest. I want to play. I'm a football player. I enjoy it. So it's not about too much about Lamine Yamal. It's more about the coach dealing with the fact that the player maybe will be more interesting in bigger games. But that was fine. He made a good assist, and life goes on.
Yeah, but it goes against the grain of what the modern current coaches and Hansi Flick have told the media.
Yep.
We need to rotate the players, particularly the younger players, particularly the superstars. And this kind of goes against the grain of whether Lamine Yamal wanted to play or any Tom, Dick or Harry wants to play. It's the manager's decision. Pull him to decide. Listen, a lot of big games coming up. Going to do without you here. You know, one of the best players on the planet. It goes against the grain of what these coaches have complained about with their star players.
Yeah, and when they go on international duty, they complain about that as well.
Yeah.
Like, here you are, and
yeah, we don't want to go. I don't want him to go and play for Spain, but I'll play in the Copa del Rey against, you know, whatever.
You're right. What's that?
What's up?
Not just him. Yeah, I'm going to go in Spain as well.
Don't add something to the conversation.
It's so serious as well.
It's a very serious matter, Stephen. Now, come on.
It's a very serious part of the show.
It's been a very serious show altogether. What about Thomas Frank? Which Premier League player or players have impressed you the most this campaign? Frank?
So far, I will go for Declan Rice.
Yep.
In the middle of the park in Arsenal. I mean, that's the first name that I see, because every game that he played for Arsenal in any competitions, he's been spot on, and I'm very fan of that player. I highly rank him, and he's if he's not the best player, he's one of the best players in the world right now.
Obviously, Estevao at Chelsea's done well. I think you could put the whole probably Sunderland team in that as a team that's come up. Now, people were getting carried away saying, is this the best promoted team ever? Premier League team, they were saying, but team ever. And they do forget that, you know, some teams have come up and finished second, some teams have come up and won the league. But they, of course, people only remember from, you know, a few years ago. But Sunderland have done absolutely brilliant with their manager, the way they've played. I think, you know, apart from his own goal at the weekend, I think Voltemad has come in and he's looked all right. Actually, he's done a better job than I thought for Newcastle, even though they've struggled. Morgan Rogers is coming onto a game. We knew he was a good player. We saw big chunks of that last season, but now he's really in the forefront in Thomas Tuchel's mind, because he's doing it every week and did it again at West Ham at the weekend.
That Haaland guy's done all right.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's an obvious one.
Expected.
I know, Captain Obvious.
Declan Rice is quite obvious as well.
I know, but it's Captain Obvious in his twin brother.
But it's not like who has surprised you; it's who's impressed you.
You got.
Well, but they always impress. That's an easy one. It's like saying, "Oh, Kylian Mbappe's impressed me."
No, that's taking it for that. Yeah, but it's still impressed you.
You got to look.
No, he hasn't really.
He hasn't. Bro, shut up, Burley. Of course, he's impressed you.
No, but I'm expecting that.
Caicedo as well.
Were you expecting? Pull his wire out. Pull the wire. Oh yeah, the guy that got sent off against Arsenal.
Stephen, any names you would like to add?
Well, he's talking
Mo Salah.
He's talking about Sunderland. I mean, you think about all the German players that have come to the Premier League, and the majority of them, we've been told, well, it's a change of pace of the game. Well, it hasn't affected Granit Xhaka at Sunderland, has it?
Right.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
He's come from the Bundesliga.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
true,
if anything
true.
else, the pace of the game in the middle of the park is the worst.
But he has got some history in English
He's managed
football.
to do it. That's it.
That's all I've got.
That's all she wrote.
Looking at the previous FIFA Best, FIFA Best 11 squad and this year's 11, it does seem like a downgrade. Is it only because of nostalgia, or do you think football overall has dipped a little? Steve, you mentioned this, didn't you, on the show on Saturday?
Why did you come at me?
Well, because you were talking about the lack of flair players, that players have been overcoached. Is that maybe we're not seeing as much flair?
Well, you can't look at that and say they're not great.
No.
Come on. The game may be a little different, but you can't look at any of those players and say they're not great players. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know any previous 11.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
how can we compare?
No.
Do you ever have family interfere in your professional career like Mainu's brother did yesterday? He had the Free Covey T-shirt on, didn't he, yesterday at Old Trafford?
No.
No? No, I think we've discussed this before.
We've got a swift slap as well if they did.
Nothing. They got their tickets.
Yeah.
Not from FIFA. They got their tickets for games and they came along when they wanted, and that was it. Nothing else.
98. How does it work with tickets for players?
Do you know?
Do you remember?
I was trying to think about this and I can't really remember.
Right.
With so much going on, but I know. I presume we, and I honestly say this sincerely, I don't remember. I'm thinking back, and it must have been an allocation from the Scottish Football
Did you
Association.
have family there?
Yeah. Not to all the games.
Right. Stevie, 86, anyone go to Mexico?
No.
I think the first game in Stade de France, but I don't think anybody was in Bordeaux
Okay.
or Saint Etienne.
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Well, not really.
Well, they didn't want to see you get sent off.
What about the goal?
They'd have forgotten about that.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, there wasn't the furor in '86 about travelling to get into Scotland games. There was a little section,
Yeah.
but there wasn't. It was a completely
none of your
different
family
world.
went?
No.
Frank, what about you? 98?
That's a long.
Tell a lie. I did. My ex-brother-in-law went.
Okay.
Yeah, I got him 2 tickets, but other than that, that was it.
Frank? Final,
we
I
had
imagine
one
there was a bit of demand.
No, we had complimentary tickets, one for the wives, I think mostly, and after we had like 30 tickets per game to sell. So we had the right to buy them and give it to somebody else, but not making any profits, if you know what I mean. So I had friends and the family. I bought like 15 tickets for the final. Yeah. So I wasn't clever. In that time, you know. I could have made lots of money, but no, but it was forbidden. But I invited, so I paid 15 tickets for the final. It cost me a fortune, but worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it in the end. Craig, how much time will Celtic give Nancy to implement his tactics? It hasn't started well.
Well.
So for those who haven't been following it, this is the guy who used to coach.
Yeah, he was
Crew?
coaching Columbus Crew, which I didn't really know that, but he apparently did a good job there. He's a French guy with not a lot of experience in playing or managing, certainly not out with the North America. The Celtic board have identified him and hired him off the back of the interim manager, Martin O'Neill, who was a former Celtic manager of some repute. And Martin won 7 of the 8 games he was in interim. But Wilfred Nancy's come in and wanted to do things completely different. So they lost to Hearts, they lost to Roma badly, which was kind of expected, but unexpectedly they lost in the League Cup final to St Mirren badly.
Right.
So he's now lost 3 on the bounce. Now, in Scotland, if you're manager at Celtic and Rangers, you're about to get your backside set on fire. I don't know if you can survive losing 4, because the supporters are piling on him and the board.
Right.
And we all know what happens when the board are getting it.
Yep.
So I don't know what the longevity is if this continues, but it shouldn't really, because they're stronger than the rest. But if he loses 4 in a row,
Yeah.
I think they could, honestly think they could sack him.
Wow. This is interesting, Stevie. Are halfway goal attempts underutilised? Should players be attempting them more often than they do, even up to 1 attempt per game? Also, how difficult and impressive is it really to score from the halfway line?
Well, it's not. I don't think you can say it's underutilised. You know, you have to play what's. When you've got the ball at your feet, you have to play what's in front of you. So if it's on, it's on. And if it's not, then you can't manufacture it. If the goalie's standing on the goal line, then you're going to look a bit stupid. You know, try to take it on. But the fact that we're seeing so many, I would have thought by now the goalkeepers. Of course, everybody wants to tell you that their goalkeeper's a sweeper keeper. Everybody does. But there comes a point when the goalkeeper has to say, well, there are so many goals being scored from the halfway line that they have to be deeper. But, as I said, if it presents itself and you're the player, I don't think we should underestimate how difficult it is to actually do. You know, when you see somebody doing it...
Did you ever try it?
No.
In a game, though?
Nah, well, listen, there weren't many people could strike a ball cleanly at distance with the balls that we used to use.
They were heavier balls.
Because they were heavier. But we shouldn't underestimate how difficult a skill it is.
Right.
When you're running at pace with the ball and it's running away from you, to get your feet in the right place and to get the right connection and obviously get it up and get it over, I mean, it's a really, really tough skill. But I would have thought by now, goalkeepers would be the starting position would be deeper, considering how many times it's happening.
Frank, did you ever try it?
No, I never. And I think it was more difficult at that time because the middle of the park was a little bit crowdier than it is right now. So there are more time. And I agree with Stevie. Goalkeepers should drop a little bit because the players in the middle of the park have too much time to try to attempt that. And it's not that difficult if the goalkeeper is not in his own 18-yard box. I think it's not that difficult. That's the kind of range I used to try to get my forward line players, but I never tried because I never been in that position. And it's true that you maybe don't think about it, so it's not a reflex. So it's why maybe we didn't try at the time.
I mean, how many goals are scored with lobs, long lobs from the halfway line, in comparison to a goalkeeper sweeping up at the back? I think there's a big disparity between the two, and I think that's where the modern
risk and reward.
Yes, Daniel.
Yes.
I think that's where the modern manager is. He's saying, look, I want to take that risk because I want to make sure when we're playing this higher line in the press, and we're seeing it a lot these days, that the keeper, and we saw a crazy one at Arsenal the other week with Manuel Neuer in the Champions League game, who just come flying out. But that's, whether we agree with it or not, that is kind of where we are. They're saying, look, we'll take the chance of somebody scoring a spectacular goal every now and again, but we want our keeper there to mop up the high line. Welcome to modern football.
Final question is for you, Stevie. You got hit in the face with a sponge when you broke your jaw. Had several scalding wax bats.
Hold on, sorry. You got hit in the face with a sponge, and it broke your jaw.
No. You remember the old rubber bag with a stinking, smelly old sponge in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, playing Norwich away, halfway line, second half starting. You know when they stick the ball up? Stick it up high for the guy to run and head it. So Kevin Drinkle comes straight on, and instead of heading the ball, headed me.
And he had quite a large head, Kevin.
He had a rather strong square head. So I tried to force it. So I'm lying on the ground, and Roy Evans comes running on. So nobody no idea what's wrong with me. So I'm just lying on the ground.
Who's technically not really, is he a physio, Roy Evans?
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than got his certificates, I'm sure.
Other than giving you an aspirin for a sore head. That's about the length of his medical expertise. Take an aspirin for a sore head. And I'm just lying on the ground, stars, birds tweeting the whole thing, and I'm just lying there. And the next minute, he kneels on his he kneels on two knees, pulls the sponge out the bag and just smashes me straight in the face with it. I'm like, ah. And then he said, "You all right?" Oh my goodness.
What did you say?
Oh, well, I just went, and he went, good, up you get, and then lifted me up. On you go, and he ran off.
Did you play
I played the rest of the half.
Did you, Stevie?
Oh, they're so soft these days, aren't they?
I came over the end of the game, right, and he came on and he went, you all right? And I went, oh, hello. And he went, he said, I'll get to the point.
See, nothing's changed then.
Tomorrow. So I was like that. Of course, I'm like that. Yeah, aye.
Did you win?
Do you know what? I can't remember.
Well, of course not.
Of course not. I'm not finished yet.
I'm sorry.
So we go back to the hotel. So we couldn't go home. It had been snowing.
Okay.
So the police the police advised us not to go drive from Norwich because it's like 6-hour drive in the bus. That night, it was too dangerous, so we had to go back to the hotel that we'd stayed in the night before. And so I went out for a beer.
Right.
So I'm standing at the bar and I'm doing this, and Alan Hansen comes up to me and says, "Hey, any chance you're going to drink that instead of pouring it down the front of you?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I went like that. I'd been pouring it in, it had just been dribbling all the way out. I couldn't even feel it.
Did you not notice?
No.
Once again, I say it, nothing's changed.
Well, it was completely numb.
Like when you go to the dentist and get the old shots.
Aye.
Wow.
Aye, that was good fun.
Oh, sounds great. Right.
Good fun.
That's when they wired your jaw, right? After that.
Aye.
That's when you had to put fish and chips in the blender.
Yeah.
You had
Fish and chips in the blender.
this continues, Stevie. You've had several scalding wax baths for your ankle.
Yeah.
and had other bizarre treatments back in your day. Were there anything that actually worked?
Well, yeah, they all kind of worked.
Well,
Just a little bit.
The sponge obviously didn't.
Well, the sponge. Yeah, I mean the wax bath.
You better tell me
would
what
say-
the wax bath is for people maybe who don't know that story.
Right. So basically, if you had any sort of ankle injury, the first thing they did was not send you to the hospital or anything like that. You would come in the next day, and there would be just a little, like a crock pot.
Yeah.
Except a bit bigger. Just big enough to get your foot in it, but it was full of red hot wax.
Sure,
So
it
you
wasn't
had-
a candle.
So you had to put your foot in it, submerge your foot in it, up above your ankle.
Right.
But what happened was, once you got it in initially, and all the wax would
Would set, yeah.
set around your toes and everything.
But was it warm or cold?
Oh, it was boiling. But the one mistake you couldn't make was to move your foot or your toes.
Right.
Because then it would break and all the boiling wax would go into the... and then it would have to set again. So that's what if you got an ankle injury, that's what you had to go through.
And did it work?
I don't know.
I
Was your
guess.
ankle?
I guess. I don't remember ever having to go to the hospital after they'd done it for a couple of days.
Did you play football during the Middle Age or what? Because
Seriously, Frank, guy.
Frank, did you ever have any bizarre treatment?
how do you call those kind of beasts? You find in the river who suck your blood. Leeches, yeah. I twisted my ankle, and one doctor in Strasbourg found a good
Are you
way
asking me if
to
I played in the
treat you.
Middle Ages? Leeches.
He opened my ankle and put those leeches to suck my blood, to take it to avoid the bruise and in fact release my ankle. That was insane. So, and every time the leeches was filled up, he was taking something to take the blood out and put it back in my ankle.
Wow.
That was insane. That was disgusting.
Do you not remember the guy that Ruud Gullit brought in to Chelsea, who had a very alternative?
The tough guy.
Was it the Dutch guy Ted Troost? Ted Troost?
Yes,
He used
I
to
do
walk
remember,
on people and hit you. I saw Dave Lee.
What's going on?
No, I'm being serious. He came in and you'd be like, "Is your ankle sore?" And you go, "Let's see." He'd say, "Yeah," and he'd go, "Let me see it," and then he'd go, he'd hit it. And you'd be like, "Jeez," and he'd punch you in the back. And then I walked past one of
Why
the.
did he put one just for fun?
No, I don't know why he was doing it, but I walked past a room one day and Big Dave Lee, who was a centre half at Hayes and Harlington, where Frank and I used to, there was all these little rooms, and I could hear this noise. Ah! I walked by, and Ted Troost, who was like 6 foot, he must have been 6'4", Frank. He was a big guy.
Yeah.
Dave was lying on his flat, and Ted Troost was walking on his back.
And since then, we never heard about David Lee anymore. We don't know where.
What surprise. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Ruud knew him from Holland, and it was an alternative. And this guy, you were like to hide from him.
I bet.
I never forget. I seen him walking on Dave Lee, who was like 6'4" himself, but I think it was a back thing he had.
Oh, that's the most interesting part of the show. We should have started that.
Well, actually, I think to be honest with you, I still think we should have started with Thomas Frank.
That brings us to the end.
Followed by Xabi Simons, and then a whole Tottenham discussion for about an hour.
And the FIFA.
That is it. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for more Real Madrid, of course, in Copa del Rey action. Manchester City in the Carabao Cup.